Today, Panasonic has unveiled new firmware for the Lumix S9 alongside the long-awaited 18-40 f4.5 to f6.3, and I think this will help to change some people's minds on the S9 altogether. Getting straight into it, firmware version 1.1 for the Lumix S9 now gives you the option to remove all recording time limits when shooting video, and these limits can be disabled via the video record limit option in the monitor display menu. You'll get a message on screen warning you about the camera potentially getting hot, but this is of course to be expected since there's no active cooling. Once you have enabled this setting, you will be able to record for as long as your battery and SD card will allow you to, in all resolutions and frame rates. However, if the camera does get hot, it will automatically shut off to cool down. This is an incredible update and now makes the S9 a viable option for anyone who seeks a small full-frame camera for longer takes. In a recent video that I made on the S9, I said how it would be great if Lumix allowed you to choose whether you wanted to extend recording time. So to see this added in the very first firmware update for this camera just shows that Lumix are actually listening to their customers. Firmware version 1.1 also adds the ability to display multiple frame markers at any given time. You can now activate 3 aspect ratio guides at once, meaning that you could set a 9x16 box for vertical shooting, a 16x9 box for widescreen delivery, and then even a 1x1 box as well. There's multiple aspect ratios to choose from, and this feature will be super helpful for those wanting to shoot in open gate and then crop in post for multiple deliveries. Using these guides, you'll have a visual aid so you can be sure that whatever you're shooting will be in frame for each delivery you intend on making. Along with these new features, the S9 will also get new AF detection modes. Firmware 1.1 introduces plane and train subject detection, as well as the option to choose specific parts of cars and motorcycles. I've found all of the subject detection modes so far to be highly effective, so the addition of more options can only be a benefit for the end user. The last update in this firmware package actually comes to the Lumix Lab app itself, and now you'll be able to use features such as remote shooting, shutter control, and the ability to transfer images selected on the camera. The remote shooting features have always been available on the Lumix Sync app, so it looks like they're slowly decommissioning that app and giving all of its features to the newer and better Lumix Lab app. When I was actually out in Japan for the S9 event, they confirmed that they'll be making this migration of features eventually, so I'm actually really happy to see it happening so soon. So with all of the Lumix S9 updates out of the way, let's talk about the new 18-40. This lens only weighs 155 grams, making it the smallest and lightest full-frame lens with autofocus ever made. The lens is super compact and perfectly matches the Lumix S9. This lens has a minimum focusing distance of 0.15 meters, and that actually allows you to get pretty close to your subject. The 18-40mm range is also extremely useful, giving you a decent amount of space in the frame on the wide end for self-filming and vlogging, while also delivering a perfectly usable 40mm focal length on the closer end for portraits and street photography. The front filter size is 62mm, and just like the other more recent Lumix lenses, the wording on the front has been greyed out, giving a really cool stealthy aesthetic. Price-wise, the new 18-40mm will set you back £519 here in the UK or $499 US. I think it's safe to say that this lens hasn't been designed for shooting commercials and high-end projects, but instead is way more suited to the casual user and content creator. I haven't had any issues with image softness, and the autofocus has been very reliable as well. So really, if you're looking for a semi-versatile zoom that will keep your setup lightweight and compact on days out, then the 18-40 will be a great choice for you. I know that the variable aperture will put some people off, but there has to be a trade-off when you're working in such a compact form factor. I've been carrying the Lumix S9 with this lens around with me for the last few weeks, and this combo is just so easy to sling around your neck or in your bag without weighing you down at all. The image quality is also excellent. It's plenty sharp enough for casual stills and video shooting, and the focus breathing is very controlled across the entire focal range. If 18-40 isn't a wide enough focal range for you, then you can activate the hybrid zoom function on the S9, and that will make this little lens an 18-125mm, which is absolutely incredible for such a small lens. Granted, the hybrid zoom function does entail a digital crop, so as you reach those more telephoto focal lengths, you will be losing resolution. But for the casual shooter, you'll still have more than enough detail in your image for posting on socials. Please also bear in mind that you can only achieve the 125mm focal length if you have your minimum image size set to extra small in a photo shooting mode, and you'll only be able to extend your range to around 61mm when you're shooting video. Regardless, this feature is super useful to have and definitely makes this setup way more versatile. This got me thinking about the future of the S9 setup because imagine if in the future Lumix released an S9R with a higher resolution sensor inside, but with that same size form factor. Then this hybrid zoom function would become infinitely better thanks to that higher megapixel count and would allow for more detailed images on the telephoto side. I'll be making more videos that dive deeper on the 18-40 in the future, so if you are interested in grabbing this lens for yourself, then make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any of those future videos. Oh, and Lumix also revealed a new colorway for the S9 that they're calling Smoky White, and I think it looks great. So if any of the existing colors just aren't doing it for you, then maybe this new Smoky White finish will. In fact, this new colour is my fiance's favourite so far, so I can see it being popular among the female audience and anyone else who fancies something a little bit out of the ordinary. So Lumix have taken away that pesky record limit, they've increased shooting flexibility with the framing guides, and they've finally given us a lens that fits the S9 perfectly. I really hope this helps to change the naysayers' minds on this camera because it genuinely is an incredible piece of kit. I mean, I use mine all the time and I do think that smaller cameras are definitely the in thing right now. No one wants to carry a large heavy camera body around all the time, and while the larger bodies will always have their place for more serious work, I think the compact size of the S9 will surprise you in its effectiveness to get incredible results while flying under the radar. And as they always say, the best camera is the one that you have with you, and since I got my S9, I haven't left my house without it. Along with all of these updates, Panasonic have also unveiled new firmware for the S5 II and the S5 IIX. So if you want to know a little bit more about what you can expect to see coming to those cameras, then watch this video next.